After a very wonderful three speakers, my job is very, very difficult to keep you engaged. Having talked about the quality by Papa John's, how they are making their pizza successful, and customer experience, people experience by my friend Kulpreet, and success mantra by Mr. Kama. What I am going to talk about in a couple of slides in next 15 minutes about the TQM, and it's like going back into the memory lane and seeing the foundation, how the quality actually evolved. And everybody in the business wants to succeed. Everybody in the business wants to grow, but the question is that whether growth is sustainable or not. This slide is only going to tell you if you have designed your business model on the formula of quality, the success going to definitely come to you. Without that, many people would have tried but may not have sustained. So, three perspectives: how the quality management emerged, what actually happening in the industry, and what are the three important pillars of TQM that everybody can practice or profess. This slide might be a little boring to all of you. You know, the journey started of the quality management when we started defect identification by inspection at the product line, and then we moved. Okay, why to unnecessarily invest on the product? Let's first do something in the product making itself, so that the journey from inspection to goes to the quality control. But both the focus was that let's detect the problem, detect the kind of defects. The journey moves to quality assurance. When we are making a product, it's the process. If you are able to maintain the process, parameterize the process, like the ingredient, flour, and the doughs, and all those processes going through the various kind of the activities, if you are able to manage that process, we will be able to manage the quality of the product. So, the quality assurance, the focus is more on your still on the process of one department to other department. From here, we said quality is not only baby of few operating departments, it's a baby of everybody: supply chain, HR, finance, purchase, everybody has to come together. So, the quality management and TQM, and it becomes like an organization wide the quality management, and the focus is basically moved from the detection to prevention. What next? This is not good enough. We are talking of TQM 4.0. What is TQM 4.0? Is fundamentally just look into organizations, look into success of organization is not going to go good enough to remain in the business for a longer time. You have to look for the planet. Someone say ESG, someone say SDG, someone talks about. But if you do not look toward the sustainability, your quality management is not going to serve the purpose. There would be a multiple uncertainty would be enforced through the various regulation rules, and you will not be able to succeed on that. So, this is the way quality management has emerged from inspection to the TQM 4.0. If you see these concepts of quality control, quality assurance, quality engineering, and the quality management, it was supported in 100 years through various scientific management, statistical processing, design of experiments, Six Sigma, whatnot, IMS, and that's the journey 100 years what we see today. But going back to the basic is very important if you have to really start with the fundamentals. How this actually happened, the concept by the various gurus, whether we talk about the PDCA wheel by Walter Sheward, or most importantly we talk about cause and effect Ishikawa diagram by our Koru Ishikawa. We talk about the robust design, in especially the robust design when Taguchi-san said about the dough. When he talked about the quality of design of experiment, actually it was about the donut. And from there he started parameterizing the temperature of donuts, the fluffiness of the donuts, and the crispiness of the donuts, and that's what the design concept, product design quality concept came into the way back almost in the 1950s. Most important, Dr. Edward Deming, we know he was American, but his principle was accepted more in Japan, and that's where the Deming taught about the Deming wheels, 14 points of the management and quality control, total quality in the organization. Zero defects we talked about. Today customers are impatient. They can't expect any kind of variation in the expectations. The moment he talked about, sir talked about ROC, return of customer. He talked about the digital intolerance. The customer is not at all willing to pay for any kind of deviation in his expectations. And that is what zero defects was talked by Phyllis Crosby, and cost of poor quality, gerontology, we know about the quality planning, quality control, and the quality inspection. Why I am focusing on this? The fundamental of success of a business, what Deming chain reactions talks about, if you improve quality, your rework is going to go down. Your rework is going to go down. You will be having the improved productivity, so you can capture more market, and then you can stay in business. So this chain reaction is still valid whether you are in the business of service, or whether it is the business of product, or any business of any kind of hospitality. This remains that improve quality to make successful business, to capture the market. We know this. If it is boring, you can raise your hand. But I need to remember in 1951, the Deming, when taught about the Deming principle, total quality management, Japan post World War economy was shattered, and it was relied on this TQM principle. And Japanese, that time, the product used to be like a third world country, very, very poor product. It is now one of the most dominant quality product, quality organizations that we see. Toyota, we see Sony. It all happened based on the principle of Deming. When 1951 this quality was professed by Japan, USA started feeling pinch of the Japanese product. So they went to start their MBNQ, Malcolm Baldwin National Quality Award, basically to promote the quality. And in Europe, 1992, almost 21 CEOs of the topmost company came together to increase the competitiveness of European economies. The fundamental of all these three models was about competitiveness, to survive in the competition through quality. So when the crisis was there, everybody looked towards the quality to survive and to maintain the competition, to stay ahead in the competition. This is the one story of the quality. The other story, if you see, what exactly this model talks about. If you look into the EFQ model, I happen to be also the EFQM certified assessor, and I have been assessing many companies in India as a part of CII EBA. They basically talks about directions, executions, and result. Direction, all about vision, mission, values, your leadership involvement, where do you want to go, how do you want to go, how do you want to actually achieve that direction, and then execution, how do you deploy, and then result. Same, if you look into Deming Price, they also talk same thing. Customer focused business objective and strategies, looking into social responsibility and driven by the leadership. Execution, please define your own principle, own framework. Don't borrow the framework which has been used by some other company, because success mantra for your company could be different. So please devise your own TQM model, own quality management model based on your context. If you are a 20,000 workforce, If you are a blue collar, if you are in the industry which is dominated by the commodity, every model will be different. So please devise your own model, and as a result, you should get a confidence and you get an outstanding result. So this is the one side of the quality model development. The other side, invention led to different revolution in industry. Invention of power and steam makes the mechanization. Invention of electric power started assembly line, car mass production of car, and we came to the industry 3.0 where computer, electronics, automation came into the picture. Now we are talking of also this cyber security, IoT, and last the 5.0 where the human and the robot going to get really start talking to each other. If we sometime go in Hyderabad, I just read recently in the newspaper, if you want to thank for a good biryani, it is not a chef, it is a robot. There is a Paradise Group who has parameterized every process, and the robot is making for different geography, different kind of flavor, and if you really see the biryani or taste the biryani, it is not the human, it is the robot who is making the biryani. So that kind of revolution happening out there. But why it is important for me or for you or for everybody is the reason that in the process of industrialization, we have been using energy like anything. 73% of energy goes in industries, in transportation, in buildings, in various kind of our modern development. Well, what does it make sense to us? Why it is so important to me? Because of the fact our CO2 ppm, which has gone beyond 400 ppm, it has never happened in 150 years of our industrializations. It is unsustainable. Believe me, I don't want to terrorize you or don't want to frighten you, but the fact is that the mass industrialization has led to a problem. Now the sustainability has come into the fore, embracing quality with sustainability. This sustainability becomes very, very important in whatever model you want to develop for your business. Just a few points. If you look into the global warming, the earth temperature has increased by 1.1 degree centigrade between pre-industrialization to the industrialization era. And if we really want to keep our chance of staying below the temperature 1.5 degree, we have to reduce our emission by 50%. So currently we are emitting around 50 or 49 CO2 gigaton of equivalent of carbon dioxide greenhouse gas emission. If you just look into the next 8 years down the line, our budget maximum is the 400 billion tons of CO2 we can emit. It means we are going to exhaust our budget in next 8 years. Today we are 23, by 2030 we will be actually seeing the problem of our global warming, and what global warming means to us. We have been seeing drought, we have been seeing the extreme weather, we have been seeing extreme rain. So important is that the quality should not only focus on the business, quality must focus on your environment. The second important point is that digital. We have been capturing data like anything. Each touch point capture. But the fact is that the data collection has gone from your 2 gigabyte in 10 years back, 20 years back. Now it is in the almost 80 zettabytes, and we predict it will become 180 zettabytes by 2030 or 2025. And connection of IoTs. Almost 13 zettabyte kind of data we have connected only in 1 year. But 90% of data is replicated data, just replicated from one server to other server to other server to third server. What does that mean? It's an overload of data. It's overload of data, and you have to rely on some or other way to use analytics. Otherwise, common human mind cannot process so much of data. So this is the two important trend. because of our installation and digitalization, that going to factor into our framework. So what does actually sustainability means? If the modern traditional way of definition is that just sustain the level of performance. Whatever performance, you just sustain that level with little bit of improvement. That is the one definition. But the second definition is basically, please avoid the depletion of natural resources, maintain the ecological balance. This is two different definition of sustainability. Both, if you are able to maintain, and if you look into our entire framework in 3P or ESG model, then only we will be having the quality culture with sustainability. Last 2 or 3 slides. I think you might be knowing this slide, but in TQM, if it is a vertical, is the pyramid, is the organization structure from top management to middle management to the lower management. We talk about the policy management, more about the breakthrough strategy, more about the risk management, more about the directions, involvement of top management in the innovation, digitalization. And when we talk about the lower people, we talk about the routine, sustain the routine, standardize, maintain, minor smallment, Kaizen, QC, small improvement. And the important item is the CFM. The third vehicle is cross-functional management. The CFM is about the functions or the outcome that cannot be delivered by one organization or one department. Sorry, it's not one department. It's a quality. Quality is like a function which can be managed by multiple in a collaboration with the multiple department. Safety, cost, delivery, those are the cross-functional management. Each subject is a wide subject, policy management, daily management, CFM, so I am not going to go in that detail, but in policy management, in daily management, these are interlinked. It's a very busy slide, but just want to say daily management is for the people at the bottom of your pyramid, middle management and lower management. They basically rely on the SDCA at the center, standardize, do, check, act. If there is a problem, minor problem, go for the small PDCA, plan, do, check, act. If there is a major problem, this becomes the item for discussion or for the deliberation at the higher level, and this goes for the policy management, and again the PDCA runs. So PDCA SDA cycle is the core of any TQM. And just to elaborate on this point, how the business grow, how the performance grow. In the arrow, which is red, horizontal trend, and the blue, vertical trend. Red horizontal trends are basically with little improvement. It's not exactly at the horizontal, but a little bit of inclination, upward inclination. Is basically a daily management with minor improvement. And the vertical is the breakthrough management, policy management. Both has to be happen simultaneously. Otherwise, if you have a good policy management, you can invest your money here and there, but if you are not able to sustain, you can again come back to the same level. So combination of policy and daily management makes the growth sustainable for any business. And I will end my presentation with last slide. If we have to really survive, business must focus on the most important stakeholder, which is planet. If we forget the planet, our sustainability may not live long. It is a matter of time. Someone is at 10 years, some case at 20 years, some case at 50 years. But we need to really factor in our boardroom discussion, decarbonization, green hydrogen, use of natural resources. We have to factor the cost of natural resource replenishment. How much time it takes to actually regenerate that natural resource. Today we say we are in the use and throw culture. Consumer is, everything is use and throw. But just think of that, if the pen you are buying for 10 rupees, how much time does that raw material need to be again naturally cultivated or naturally conserved or naturally generated in the mother earth? It is going to take time. If you factor that cost, that is not 10 rupees, it might be 100 rupees. So that kind of the sensitization has to come. And the second thing, my friend Kulprit said, digitalization is no more enablers. It is actually a basic necessity. We have to go for the digitalizing our routine process. We have to go for analysis of our data. We have to go for using quality assurance based on the digital model, predictive model, and these are the two important changes that has brought because of our industrial revolution. One is the sustainability and second is digitalization. So with that, thank you very much.